start us off generally, obviously coming back from the trip last week, can you just tell us about how the group's going and how you sort of reacted to those mixed results that you got there as well?
Yeah, to split the doubleheader was a good result for us. Obviously, it would have been great to get 2 wins, but I think we've all looked at the tape and we've learned a lot from that, and I think we'll grow from that loss and even the game that we did win. So we're excited for this weekend, and we know what we can do better, and we're ready to hopefully get a good win against Bendigo.
Is there a bit of, I suppose, just on that Bendigo game as well, it's always talked about as obviously the rivalry, the 2 big regional cities. Do you guys really feel that rivalry and, sort of that animosity between the 2 sides as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a massive rivalry. We've kind of been talking about that all week. Christie's really led that. We definitely want to get the win, and I think just to have the bragging rights over a team like Bendigo is a big plus too.
Do you know much about the group they've got on the court at the moment, Bendigo, about the way they play? What should we sort of expect to see from them?
Yeah, they've got some really good players, Tess Madgen, Abby Wirrung. So, just shutting down those type of players. And then I think it's more about us than them. We know what we can do as a team, and it's playing our type of game. So we're focusing on us, but we do know that they've got some weapons.
Absolutely. Cool.
First home game. He's excited?
Yeah, super excited. I think it's been a long time coming, but this obviously COVID messed up a lot of plans last year. So we're excited to play in front of some home fans and have some good home support.
Excellent. And just in terms of injuries and stuff like that, you guys got a full bill of health, is that how you say?
It is, yeah. This is good.
Yeah, we're all good. Obviously, we're still a bit undermanned just in terms of players, but everybody who's on the roster is healthy and we're ready to go.
When you say undermanned, is that like free agents or imports that haven't come across yet, or?
We just haven't got a full roster yet. I think it's just going to see what happens, but right now we've got probably 8 people, and then we bring in some youth league girls, and it's just go with what we have.
Awesome. And you yourself, did you play Bendigo in the WNBL?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Any familiar faces or with the Braves, or?
Yeah, a few. So Mark Alabakoff, the assistant coach, the head coach for Braves was the assistant coach for WNBL. Cassidy McLean, she was my teammate and my roommate for a lot of that WNBL season. So there's a bit of stuff there, and then of course the young ones like Piper, Dunlop, and that. So I'm excited to see them, but I'm also excited to get a win.
You probably didn't play any home games there, did you, because of the hub? So yeah, is it interesting now being in Ballarat and having to switch between the 2?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Obviously, we had the hub up in North Queensland just to see what regional basketball in Victoria is. I haven't got to experience that, even though I've played for 2 regional Victorian teams, so I'm excited.
So, Matt, obviously on a personal sense, you're coming off a pretty big weekend and a pretty successful one, I suppose. Can you just tell us about what the aftermath from that road trip's been like for you?
Oh, it's exciting. It's pretty cool. Everyone dreams to make a shot like that, but at the end of the day, it's just one shot in one game. It was nice to finish the road trip off with a win after a pretty tough loss against Hobart the night before. But now it's on to the next week. We've got Bendigo this Saturday at home, first home game, so just looking forward to that.
Those crunch moments when you sort of get the ball in your hands and clock's running down, what's sort of going through your mind? Can you give us a little bit of an insight into the process and those dying moments?
We worked so hard to put ourselves in a position to win that second game. It was a tough game. Like I said, back-to-back on the road. We didn't want to lose 2 on the road in Tassie because we had a lot of travel. It was a pretty tough trip. So, just focusing on the shot, not really paying attention to the time or, the score for say, just trying to get the win for the team.
Exactly right. Would you say that's a pretty acceptable result coming back? Obviously it's a pretty tough road trip over there. Yeah. When you say road trip, crossing the Bass Strait.
Yeah.
Have you got to be pretty happy, do you think, with splitting the wins over there, considering just how tough the trip is?
Yeah, obviously we'd like 2 wins, but at the end of the day, splitting it's not too bad. It's still the start of the season, so I think you'd rather one of those tougher losses on the road earlier in the season while we're still getting to know each other in each other's games. But to split it, it's okay.
And we'll be back here in the new stadium for the first time as well. Must be pretty excited about that too.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We had Albury the first week and then Tassie trip the next week, so it's good to be home. First game in the stadium, the new arena, so it's going to be cool. Hopefully it's all packed out and everyone comes along to support.
Obviously, pretty new to the colours yourself, but you probably would have been told that, or you probably could have assumed that the Ballarat-Bendigo relationship can be a pretty frosty one as 2 big regional rivals. Are you expecting it to be, pretty hotly contested affair with them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure, to be honest, on the whole rivalry situation, but I'm sure it's going to be a tough game regardless. Every game's tough in this league, so we'll be ready.
Cool.
What do you make of Bendigo in terms of their squad?
To be honest, I actually don't know a whole lot about them. I think they're a little bit different. I don't think they have a whole lot of imports apart from Ray. I know Ray, and he's a presence, of course. He's a big dude, hard to handle, but I think we've got the right players intact to keep a hold of him. And yeah.
And how are you guys in terms of injuries? I know, was it Jock Perry strained a calf or something in that second game? It was a bit sore?
Oh, no, he just came out of quarantine 2 days earlier, and he basically hadn't moved his body in 2 weeks, so he was just cramping. He didn't, no strain, but we're all good. We're all healthy and good to go, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
As you were just saying, Brendan, it's obviously a pretty grueling trip whenever you go to Tassie. I suppose, how have the sides sort of recovered on their return?
Well, they were pretty tired, obviously, on Tuesday night, and it was a tough trip, but we were glad to, get a win, and we obviously had a close wash, but I feel pretty good about coming away from that trip. It was pretty tough. The officiating was interesting as well, but we got 1 out of 2, and we've started, as you know, the first 3 games away, so I'm pretty happy to be 2-1 coming home.
Sam Short coming back.
Yes, and so again, we talked about being adaptable this year, and not only for, travel, the draw, but bringing players in and out of the team. It was pretty tough on the weekend. Like, we had Jock. I didn't play him in the first game because he was pretty much exhausted from being in quarantine and the travel. Got there at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't use him against Hobart. And it was touch and go whether we play him against Northwest Tassie. So it was really about how he felt. And he's pretty smart, so we only did limited things for when he was on the court, but it was a fresh body, so he probably had an advantage, obviously not playing the night before, being fresh. But it's an adjustment for the team. So the next adjustment we've got now is bringing Sam in, because you sort of get into a bit of a groove with the players you've got and your rotations, and your rotations are going to change, with Sam coming in. And obviously it's a real positive. Sam knows what I'm about as a coach, knows what the style of play is, but it's going to be an adjustment for the players. And I've already spoken to him about that. There'll be less minutes. So that's not something that's easy acceptable often with players. They get into a groove, they get their minutes, and we've got players that are aspiring for their own individual goals. So it's a balancing act between, trying to achieve your individual goals and getting points and things like that to impress NBL teams, and us winning. So, I understand that, and it's a balancing act. I've spoken to the players about that. So in saying that, having Sam makes us a better team overall. If we're going to be a good team, as I've said to the players, you've got to have some depth, and you've got to be willing to understand that you're not going to play the whole game. So I guess what I'm saying right now is what I've already said to the team. So, it's that's how you go about being successful. So obviously, as a coach, I'm rapt to have Sam back because he's a good floor leader. He's a great passer, and probably him and Daniel are our 2 best passers that we have in the team. But you need players that can score and pass, and but those guys can do that. And I think that's where they're going to add to our, well, Sam as well coming into the team is going to add to our team right now. We've got plenty of players that want to score, but it's not always about scoring. It's about making the extra pass to giving the ball to the player in the best position.
How's his availability going to work with Melbourne United? Like, will he only play sort of in their home games or something? Or
Yeah, look, I'm hoping that he can play all the games for the remainder of the season, but I'm sure with everything that's going on with COVID and these changes that happen, if there's not a clash, he'll play. And looking at it, he'll play majority of the games now, but fingers crossed he does. But I mean, we've just got to be prepared that he could be coming in and out. So, and I see that as a positive. It can be disruptive, so it's going to be interesting. But I'm sure, with the conversations I've had with the team, as far as understanding that players are going to come in and out. Like, our import won't probably get here, if we do get imports, until the middle of May. So again, that'll be another adjustment again. So right now, I think we're doing pretty well with Australian content, and Sam's, being able to play now is a bonus, because that's something we thought wasn't going to happen. So to me, it's a huge bonus that we're getting Sammy back.
And we're definitely getting an import as well at some point, it looks like.
We're hopeful, and we've got someone in line, but it's just whether the rules will allow it to happen. Most teams have got 2 imports to come in. We focused on Australian talent, and just depends on what changes down the track.
Brilliant. I suppose if we look to the game coming up, obviously in the new stadium and against some old foes, maybe if you like, I suppose you must be really excited for such a big occasion.
Yeah, I guess we've played a few games here now, practice matches, and we had a tournament here. But I think it's exciting more for the community that we have, the dead set real NBL1 first game here, and there'd be nothing better to play a team like Bendigo. As you know, there's a rivalry straight up, and the rivalry is between us, Geelong, Albury, being the country teams in NBL1, and I don't know whether everyone likes to say it or whether they don't want to say it or want to say it, but the bottom line is we want to be the number one country team for sure, and we were 2 years ago, and we want to be that again this year. And then, okay, well, how do you go about that? I mean, at the end of the day, you just focus on what's in front of you. We've got a game. They're tough. They've won one, lost one. They've played quality opposition in Mount Gambier. They beat Mount Gambier over there, which surprised everybody. And they came home and lost to Frankston High. I think probably could be the favourites this year. So they've had 2 tough games, and I look at their roster. They've got some good Australian talent, and they've got a US import that's been here a long time. So they've got a bit of an advantage having him. So they're going to be a tough outfit to play against on Saturday night.